Hi, for today's teardown, this. We have here a old school Collins VHF transmitter from apparently Boeing 707 and from Air France. Thank you very much. So, it is a really old piece of equipment. We will try to find out exactly from when it is. I believe it has vacuum tubes, at least for the transmitter section. So nice black Amberton paint case with on the front panel protruding piece featuring some stuff we will check out and a lot of cooling holes. On the back, two regular connectors with antenna coax. Interesting sticker here first from one of the maintenance companies apparently. AE Toulouse, quick service station. That code of 1178, so it was repaired or serviced in 78. It gives a little information of how old it must be. There was a sticker which came loose from Emmet Aviation, also in Blagnac near Toulouse, France. Zoom here onto the manufacturer plate. Type is 17L7. Serial number 6260. Of course, Collins Radio Company in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and the old Collins logo here. Very nice. Here on the top, two little windows allowing to check out the selected frequency, because it is completely remote controlled from the cockpit, of course. Another sticker here you cannot see, but it is written May of 80. Power output, maybe, indicator, mic, plug here, and this rotary switch for probably selecting which information you want to display here. Interestingly enough, there is no hand stop on this button. You can turn it indefinitely. So where do you know if a button comes offset, what is your correct position? And by the way, this is not the original button here. It is from an item I took apart. Check out quiz for you. Try to find out from which item it is. There is a video about it. There is a fan in here. I tried to power it on, but all what I got was smoke coming out from a big resistor in here, and we will open first this front compartment and check out what we have inside before we open the main cover. So this will be checked out and we can go to the next part. Real quick. So this is a very common transmitter. You see it a lot of on eBay. I got it for 60 euros from a French eBayer, which is quite rare actually, and he has more Collins stuff to sell, so I might get another one. Cover made of aluminium, the sticker I was speaking about here, and we have the fan actually. Quite a lot of parts in here. Let me try to adjust it for you first here. So the fan called motor, DC motor, from something Globe Industries in Dayton, Ohio, it seems. Very nice motor. It is even serial numbered. A little trimmer here for something. Some probably capacitor here, not sure, and a little bakelite plate here with a bunch of parts. So let me try to remove it for you. How to do this? It is not secured in the top, just in the bottom. So there is a board here with mainly, it seems, okay, we have the back side of the indicator of the rotary selector, mic switch, mic plug, which actually has a switch in here or not. Now it is a bulb, yes, because we have a light here. High band when on, and there is actually a little bulb here. Let me try to adjust the view for you. Yes, little bulb. Nice power transistor here. I do not think it will be possible to have a look at the reference number because it is hidden by the fan, but it looks like we have a golden case on it. Bolted like so, and little plate here with mostly Allen Bradley kind of resistors, nothing especially interesting. Maybe I can show you like this. More resistors at the back, and it is all the little bulb holder here. Two standoffs to secure the front piece. Okay. One nice squirrel cage fan here. Probably quite powerful. Okay. This indicator. We have a date code here actually of apparently March. Seems to be 66. Here we have 67 written. So yes, might be the area date of manufacturing of this device. So let me put this back together and we will open the main cover. Okay, removing the main cover is just a matter of undoing one quick release here and pulling like such. So it will come right off if you do not have a dent in it. I had one here actually, I had to repair a little bit. Pull it from the inside with a hook and then do some minor paint repair. So here is what it looks like. Mainframe module on the top with, yes, vacuum tubes. Module on the bottom with more stuff. A lot of intricate stuff in here also. So let me try to undo the modules for you. Could be pretty quick actually. If I find the main screws securing them. So like all Collins equipment, it is a very nice modular construction. It will probably pull out and unplug without any problems. After undoing a few screws, they are even spring loaded, it seems. They will pop out after unscrewing. Really nice. So old school electronics in here. A lot of dust also. What next? This one. And so actually I did already replace some of the internal screws which were stripped. Luckily enough I have a big stock of avionics screws. Is it coming off? It's cold. It is supposed to. Okay. So as I said, really easy. Two connectors here did admit automatically. Free even with this coax. Here are the dials with selected frequency on all the adjustment stuff. We will try to dig in here and check out if we can have a better look at all this stuff. Might not be always easy, but I will do my best. So it is apparently the RF module. Other side we have two modules apparently. Super easy to undo. What did you screws on this one? Okay. Wow. I am not sure what this is, but it really looks interesting. We have one more here. Oh, this box at the bottom, which seems could be quite tedious to access, but I want to check out what we have inside. Only enough, it is not totally secured in place. Really weird. Two screws I saw here are free. Wow, the hole is barely the correct size for the screwdriver, really. Impressive. Okay, this one is extra heavy. Probably because this is a big transformer. Okay, we have free frame here, except for some wiring on this box. So I will put this camera over it now, and I will first try to check out this thing here. Okay, so this frame, we have a middle compartment here with apparently just the wire loom coming through. You can see how it is secured here with a part around the screw. Very well unglazed, of course. The connectors to the modules. So we removed here the modulator on the AC or DC power supply. Interesting, we can have both. It is the DC power supply. Okay. Here we have the outlines of the internal parts. So not much, just a few capacitors and one resistor apparently. So about this compartment here, I am not sure. I will try to undo the screws. I really want to check it out, but with this short coax here might be a little bit tedious, and there is a screw which is impossible to reach. Here at the back, of course. And is it coming off? Not really, because not because of the screw, which is annoying me, because of the there is this connector here at the bottom. I do not have enough clearance to lift the thing because of the connectors here. So it means I need to undo them. It will be, by the way, very fun to reinstall, but let's do it. So instead of including captive nuts here in the frame, they did secure it with those little plates which will come off, well, fall off when you unscrew them. Not the best thing I have seen. Okay, the module is now free. It is apparently related to antenna switching or antenna tuning. There is one relay here with a pinout. There is one coax relay here. You can see the coil here actuating a contact in this compartment, made by Amphenol, of course. 28 volt DC model number, so it is a coax relay. And on the bottom of this module, yes, some filter stuff, really. Very old school tubular ceramic capacitors, handmade coils, the coax going to the bottom compartment through the frame, and a few more resistors and inductors. Okay. All silver coated brass, it seems. Interesting, but tedious. Okay, I will try to reinstall all this stuff and we will continue. Okay, everything is back in place and secure. We can continue with the power supply module. So, called DC power supply. Type number here, Balastran transformer apparently, and a lot of parts numbers written on this plate. Well, cover, but it looks like it will be fun to open. Oh yes, there is a lot of stuff to look at. So Sprague for something farad, 600 DC volts. For microfarad probably containing PCB oil. So let me try to figure out what to do with this cover. Okay, so we have this did just fall out. I do not know where it was located. Some cork sticker apparently, maybe between here and here. Yes, big old school Allen Bradley resistor. Shielded transformer, very impressive. Bridge rectifier here with 1N149Q diodes, metal can diodes it seems. And here you can see no PCB anywhere, just soldering posts. So mainly resistors, capacitors, Torotel inductors here, very nice, these ones. One old school Sprague capacitor made in USA, and looks like the dead code 63. Interesting here, riveted terminals on it. And we have two power transistors apparently. Dead code of 63 again, no brand, but interesting case, and they are secured onto this heatsink thing. Okay, interesting. Not your regular shape of transistor, but they are really ancient. So some kind of FR4 material here, a circuit board material plate, but it is a structural plate, no circuit board actually. Fiberglass or something like this. Interesting. Okay, a lot of dust in this compartment. One more diode here. And you can see the case, the securing screws, well, the module securing screws, very long like this, and secured in place with a circlip. So very nice construction here. Some yellow sticky tape here, insulating tape. The same kind of tape you can still find into any switching mode power supply transformer actually. Interesting. Okay, so the module, apparently it was never taken apart before because the screws were very hard to undo, but quite nice so far. You can see the screws to the, there are cutouts to accommodate the screws of the heat sinks and for the two rivets for the capacitor clamp. Okay, so I will reinstall the screws here and we go to the next one. Here we have the modulator module featuring mainly this super EV unit, transformer or inductor or something. You can see they did write some useful information with actually the resistance of the windings and the acceptable power. Interesting. Completely sealed and potted probably. Here we have two more transformer, it seems, this one at least. Rated, this one 0.2 watts, and the third unit, no much information on it. Okay, I can see very big resistors in here. So again the same kind of heat sinks, but more transistors here according to the lettering, and one extra cover here. So let's undo the screws. Okay, so here we have a little extra cover for some reason coming over this plate. Again, not a circuit board, just a solder post plate with all the mainly big Allen Bradley resistors. You can see how everything is labeled except for the wires, color of wires supposing to go on the solder point. Here it is not written. So we have, okay, the bottom of the main transformer here with Collins radio inspection number 14448. Hello Mr. Inspector or Mrs. Inspector 14448. Old school here, General Electric transistor it seems. And the two other ones, power transistors bolted here on this bracket, but it will not be possible to see easily which model they are. And here again a bunch of probably either tantalum or electrolytic capacitors. They are polarized apparently. Nice wire loom, of course, more dust. And again the same setup with two heatsinks and two transistors, this time Motorola SP589, so probably super obsolete by now. Okay, the same kind of construction than the power supply really. You can see then the same form factor almost. Yes, interesting. Okay, let me put back this one together and we'll go to the main tuning unit. So the main unit with vacuum tubes, probably somewhere a motor and variable capacitor, of course, the main tuning capacitor here. So first we have a cover here at the end with these two dials. It was easier than expected, and yes, there is an index, you cannot put it in the wrong way. So here is the first indicator with all the frequencies in megahertz and the sub megahertz frequencies. Okay, I think. Okay, interesting information here, and here apparently we have a bunch of crystals in here and inductors. But first we will check out the vacuum tubes, because if I want to undo this cover here I need to do this one anyway. So this one, General Electric, made in USA with a lot of stars. Model 5670 maybe. Interesting, seems still good. House cool socket here. So actually, well, it is easy. It is written here. So we see we have the same model here and two little bit different models here. So this one I need to do it. Anyways, same model number. Oops. I'm not sure if it is me or not. I do not think so. This one. Okay, otherwise if we go in the should go in the socket with no too much problems. Okay, same model number. Here we have another one. Well, looks actually very much the same. And maybe a bigger one here. Some shielded relay here. Here, yes. Nice one. Electronic tube. You can see if it is not the same ink they did use. Here it is more engraved on the glass. I do not know which process. And here it is silkscreen or something like this. Interesting, and it seems to be good also. No leaky tubes. Okay, we install this cover. Interesting pass-through capacitors here, and now I need to undo all the covers because in particular because I want to check what we have here. High voltage inside and apparently the main transmitter tube. But first we will undo the covers on this side and go progress this way. Okay. Okay, a lot of screws. The covers are off. And what can we see here first? Yes, the main set of crystals for all the frequencies you want to select, with actually rotating contact here. A lot of coils for each one. We have gears here in the middle, very hard to rotate, I cannot turn them. Micro switch, another one here, so it is a feedback of the position of the mechanism, it seems. More crystals here, so probably we have a set for transmitter and a set for receiver, I guess. And more gears. I do not see obviously a motor, so I believe it might be some kind of solenoid and it will do advance one step at a time, some kind of stepper motor. Maybe it is this unit here, but there is nothing really obvious, or it is located here at the back. And there is a shaft coming through here. Not really easy to tell. You can see a lot of gears where the paths like this, glass, electrostable capacitor, it seems. You can see the bottom of the tube sockets here with all the compartments with pass-through capacitors and things. Okay, very nice. But nothing really obvious on where the stuff is located. Okay, I am going to check. We need to do this one again. Okay. Okay, so nice stuff for you, but really not easy to tell what is what in here, because it is really compact and filled with stuff. There is one more layer of rotary switches here, it seems. Buffer switch. And by the way, here super serious aluminum plates for the structure of the device. Okay, so I will reinstall these covers and we will progress at this one. So under this super thin and flimsy aluminum shield, we have, as written, inductors and capacitors. So the main set of air variable capacitor, it seems, and trimming, extra capacitors here for trimming, and air wound inductors also, and again a lot of dust. Everything here seems to be made of brass. Okay, main rod here passing through. Interesting construction here, ceramic rod apparently with a metallized surface, seals to allow soldering onto. Interesting. I see more of them here. Probably here it is for the transmitter and here it is the receiver. Very, very nice. So let me reinstall this cover and then we will go to the main area of interest, I believe, in here. This might be a good photo for the thumbnail. Okay, main area of interest here. Actually, I'm clicking out because there is a blue part here I was curious about, but since it is just most probably a multi-turn trimmer. Yes, it is even here the output of it. Okay. Well, the adjustment. So here we have apparently the main business end, transmitter side with beefy parts, door knob capacitor here, big, super thick adductor, thick and solid air capacitor, another one little here, another glass capacitor here, and this thing RCA 6884 apparently power vacuum tube in glass and ceramic. So, well, metal and ceramic, so I need to unscrew it. In order to check it out, we have apparently here bolts to undo, 2 bolts and 1 screw. Of course, I have a set of imperial sockets, and it is the smaller one, 3/16 of an inch. Thank you very much. That will allow me to undo these 2 little nuts, which are not even very tight. There is a little clamp that will come out. I did just break a piece of glass here. Actually it will not come out because it is part of the socket of the thing, so maybe I just need to undo this one, so it is not even a useful part of the capacitor. Maybe I will try to re-glue it with super glue if I do not lose this little piece. Let me put it aside. Okay, so what do we have here? Okay, I really need to undo these things. Well, tedious. Okay, seems we are good. And look at this. I'm not sure if it is just brass or golden contacts. Not really easy to tell because of dust, but nice ceramics, probably containing beryllium insulator. This mounting frame around that could come off, I believe, but I will not disturb it. Yes, it is a spring. There is a spring all around here. So anyways, this thing has no, yes, like this. You can install it all the way around. It is not a big deal. Okay, a date code of 66. So really a nice vacuum tube. Look at this. Okay, now here we can see the matching socket with concentric spring contacts. Okay, nice stuff. So I'm not even sure where is the high voltage for it. Generated probably in the power supply directly. I do not see any more transformers or things like in here that could generate the high voltage. Okay, interesting, beautiful part here. Also, power something triode or something. You should check the number here and you might find what it is exactly, but really nice vacuum tube. That's something you see every day. A little better view here at the door knob capacitor, and I believe it will be all for this thing. We have seen every part of it. Yes, even here at the bottom. I do not think there is a lot more. In the middle here there is a channel with wires apparently, but nothing else to check, and it is not possible to access because of the wall. As always here. So, thanks for watching, bye bye.